خيي كمس ماني ورون قاتي كمس ماني ورون قاتي رقب من يمي وخاتي كمرنا مناتر دغاهي iki dünya gazina iki
أترمغ بشلام على خونة اللي بكابون سبايلا ودي لي يمدرويتا تشاسة بيرخجون ترال بخمشاسر اللي بكابون سبايلا كتير ولا خرز بغزايتهم تومون من خم سودان تاخد شايم متيمون شوم لخرز دجو خرز رابا مليا شابيرت لن خمسة تلي من ميكورت النهرين انويا رابا قدمت له رابا سبايلا بود كل مدان مودي بريشان تيتر غيراغ ميكتينا ايسز مي مويلا سو اندرني كلام سميات بتاعه إن تمال كم تريو ماني قوم لا جو أمريكا ككل دنيا مار التيرورست ككل مار الدنيا كاتب بالياملا ليلة بغزايا مويلا قوم أترجانو خيال استخاء شنو خوارا برش خامرت كوماي أنا خلينا نقطن خزيتون سيرباس صات كل تلفزيون أشي أمغزيونا إن الشبرت ناراتيت كت أنا من وتلي مجد علي مو بنت الرابع كت كامودي قد أترك كت أخنا خمسمة بوت تيرورست خمسمة بوت قتل خمسمة دكان خينه خجبنا من 9/11 كت في أمريكا عربية توين تاور مخيلون أمريكاية بوزة بيش نقطيلة قد بلاشت مدوقة من بلاشت العراق بلاشت أفغانستان مترجوي داله كل كانت تيسر ألف أمريكا بيش نقطيلة قدنة ربلاش يعني كل شيء تا خدسر ألف أمريكا بتوبانجا بيش نقطيلة بيبرسو بخينة أخنا شمولا مقلة تيروريست عش موكي خارلة آيساس كتيتر قدنة يمان براملة بختار لا مدري ليلم طايا ألدن ليلم طيتا كتكمسيجو خايو مكدني ناشا بختارنا انتلاقا قد أترا ماتيلا إنما مكيرو بوش سواناهي وكت خاك خوارا برخشاليو خا عمرت كوماي التشاقنات بختار ليلة بدواقنا إنما باين خاطن خاشكل مزيون كت خازيتهم متقوم تيتن أمريكا طلا بيداغ تري بيداغت لا خايت كل كانت أتا يونايتد ستيت لا كل خاستيت بيداغت جانوت لا جو كابيتال مخلقة جو كاليفورنيا ساكرامنتو إلى بايتخت كاليفورنيا إنه بيداغت أمريكا جو كل أمريكا جو كل ستيت إيتن جانو كاليفورنيا خدب بلا خزيتهم كما تيلا الشكرة البيداغ أين ستيت لا إنه جو ساوث كارولاينا جم داين خبيداغ زيتن كونفدريشن إلا كامو ات ساوث إلا إيجتيفا أطرد تريب سامة أجداني كما يماني كل بيداغت أمريكا وستيت مكبيبة مسابقنا تشاقنات منيخنا بيش نقطيلة أخشي خابي دغلينا مصليو آيزي ات أمريكاية ساوتيلا أنتي وكمتا بلاشة من نورد ساوت مقرم لا جيك بيداغ شغليو يعني وش خوارنا وش دجمنت ناش نخراينا وكيوماينا كلنا شخينا قارباينا بيداغ ديه جو ساوت كارولاينا نينا مزيو وجل بيزلس شو ساوت كارولاينا أدفتن بغزاية أي بيداغ قطان بغزايتهم بيداغت كونفدريشن هنا أنا مقرمالون بيداغت أمريكا وكت كمت تكساس كل الساوت بيداغت دييبا ستيت كابيتال ساوث كارولاينا بيداغت أمريكا بيداغت ستيت مكبونا إن بيداغ خمينا الله مغزويلا سنيتا مغزويلا سنيتا دي ستيت من كوماية مغزويلا سنيتا دييب نخراية الرابع ما بيننتلا كناشك بغزايولة كت أن برشنا الدنيا باي ماضي ديمقراطي أن برشنا الدنيا مكروزنا بريتش بعدنا كت أخنا كتوهم بتميز آزادوتا إن خيروتا آزادوتا أهلا كت أن لختلون هالكيانة خاملة بسبايلا عندك بصايرت أتشاجنات بيشقطيلة جو عمره ناشونا وارا جو عمره بتشاول من السلطة صالويلة خبخاتو بنج بالوتولة أتشاجنات بختارلة لك ما جنت الدربان بعدله إتاتو بنج ما يكاتو يوبل بابو البديل تسريخا شيتا زي ما مود بابا مسنيتا جودي بيتا إتفا كدا يرسول الجروس بسنيتا من خرايا بسنيتا من كوماية يوصلها شو اللي بتفعله مجبان تلايت أخنا بايغ أمتا ملتة أمريكا حكم أمريكا بيايلك الدنيا مالب أزاتوتا خيروتا خزيمو ميدا قوم جو مدليس جو إيجيبت جو يمن جو سوريا جو العراق جو أطرقانا بالنهرين أنا كل مديانة ما يبيديلي أمريكا خبطت لخربشتر جو دنيا قد بايكاتي ملبا ديمقراسي مويلة إن هذا ديمقراسي لأنا بشامل أمريكا خميالك جانو راو بسبوتو إن خاص شكل خيني كاتهم بالمغزيين كدي راو مجبان له داخل آتوراي ديان بجلد وخاناية مق آتوراي خاته بيداغ ترك قرداي بيدت بيكنا. Let's show the second picture please. آتوراي مقبل عدا شكل جشكم أن كل آتوراينا يعني قرداي بداينا بيداغ قرداي بيديلا أن قشيشنا لما ذاك ما من خاص قدنا بدايتهم إن الزيمون كما تام بالخانة كت إيتوت ديان شبيلة كما نخراية تام زوجنا مغدادة كدمس الشمة آتورايا من تام شبيلة قردايا كت خاناش رفيوجيلة من أطرة إيران تيلة من دكان خينة تيل تاما وقت ديلة وقت زيال سور بيتش موينا وينا بمليون أخنا تام بيخسروه تبع جو أطرة جانا أخنا جانا أواربخ ما أتخناشنا أن ناشكتين تاما بزايتهم باعث بينا كت أمتا آتوريتا وين ولتا أن ما آتوراي بيداغت قرداي بيداد بيكنا كين تاما زجيخ كنا أي بلدو قاشا أن آتم مشيخايتا فريش وادا بداخم صايد إيدو غدوقتا بيداغ نخراي كتو بقطالة له أنا لم بدأ شما بد ما تيتم لا إن تمجت مارت راو أجزانت لا أنا ودي خاصة من التليفون شو كنو بتيخي كتمسيتهم من إطلاق خاطر خمنت على دنا الشكل كاتو مغزيون خاطر خمنت تسقيني فيديو كاتو مغزيون كتشا دقيقة ل بلغو عربت ل بلغو لشان آتورايل كتمسخن هرنت من ديان كتانوين لشان عربت خاصة مزب لشان آتوراي بياش الدنيا أيل خويا دباين همزمت ديان أخنا من كالدناية جريت فغموي دال همزم مخن سزيرغ لا درقل أودال بالشخ پلاشت مقداده کدیان چاتونی تبد مایانی پلاشت مقداده کدیان ناراتوی تبد مایانی کامو ترمت بخساره وقت گذا آتت که خک من آتورای گانه قردای بخراینا گذا آتت که کل کدیان بایی من تمام شیپینی گذا آتت که امریکا لیره تقمون که مو برجدیان بیتاره سب لیره تقمون برجگانه مویله بیتاره انگلیس لا هویداینا قرداینا ان کل خجبن ترکیه هایور لک داعش کدام سنویت زبنه لک تزویز مامتو یعنی عربية سعود عربية هايور كاتب زوجة جيبا كاتب ياولا زوجة هران قانون سعود عربية بربط مخيط دريشة وإيدا إلى قانون الإسلام كده عربستان سعودي سعود عربية أنا من ديوادنا سأخنا جداد دنيا شاتن قد بخايبة رابط بوش حسنابتو كديان قد زوج يغمود عليه كم تاتا زوج يغمود على بخا اعتبرنا دكتورنا خذ أمتا أوتوريت الله تبقى تومد متن كشكيتم لب خازيتم كنت مرة في الجان وزارة خبرة تنويله أنا تبقين زيدني كاتومد مازنون جدان بتايله إن أديد لا تقبل شخنا داقسات كد ماي دوز مارل ماي كالدنايل ماي آتوراي ماي ليلة آتاخن سزجير مقداد خشمة كمت أديتلن مبلغخله إن مويدا لازق إن كده بخشوا خيابان ده مويدا كهلاخن بايق از واشنطن مويدا لازق باي كتاب كسنة كتاب مويدا كتفخله كتام صزبيك بطابق طلا مليون زودة إن إحنا كلنا سوريا كالدناي آتوراي زبغ مويداله زودم طلا مليون بطابقن كم سخن كان خمخله كم سخ شكل دوك بيدا من كان خمخله كالخ أترزك كان شكل خيروزك كان شكل مساوي بايغ رابع إن أدخل بزبق بطلا سامم خاق دوخين اللي خبول أخش بوت إيتوتا بوت إيتا مشي خمشي خيله قانونا خانة كتابا خايلة خمشي خيلة خالايتلن قد بيجو همونه وقت لاجر أدية جدادان أوديو قد مويلة بريش أمتاطورة بجاية أخنا يدفع مويدالة بالشخن أخنا جيكن زبيق يخن سزجيرة مويدالة إذن كل من دي تشييتتله كل من دي كتوتتله كل خامن دي موزيم ازيتم جبت صوب ازيتم دكان بريش ازيتم كتاب بتريتم كاتوخن تشييتة بتانيله ألبو 85 كت إيتا كالديتا بشلبيتا بيد فاتيكان أيزا تاملا كالدين راجزة فاتيكان استخلف بيدا إيتن الدنيا تيمون لا درشاخن سب كل من دي إيتن إن تيمون مودا موداخن سزجير راخن بالشغ مقدادة إذا بيبقى الزبيق خيد داخن كدام صار كأمتناي يعني خصبايا باقن كجب أمتناي كتام جاني ما توين الدم تافوخنا من ديان بنطارنا كداني صبايا باقن بزودة بدا باقن كبدايلا بس مالخو أنا أتيب ما توين لين مدبكة تخمنيات لا ما توين كتخازيتم أن خبرانك بيشن توني إيتن إن إحنا كم صاخن قميت الدنيا كل دوك أخلا يتفق الخامس مخا أترايا مخا كلدنايا يتكلديتا مخا سوريا أرثوذكسيتا حمزة مغمضة الخا ريشانوتا خا آتا خا أمتا خا ريشانوتا خا إيتا هل إيتا تمسا خا ودخلون كتخا قويت تجانو خوشو از تاما إن تيمون الدام مسات تخمن شونو دخله أزغل دا تيب من توقم تاننا سباش ميمون let's play it.
بهنام بن ناصر بن نعمان أبو الصوف من مواليد مدينة الموصل، وكانوا في فاتحين كلية آداب وعلوم نواة لجامعة بغداد، وفتحوا بها لأول مرة قسم Department for Archaeology، قسم لعلم الآثار. في أيلول 60 رحت ببعثة إلى جامعة كامبريدج في إنجلترا، واخذت الدكتوراه في تشرين اول 66 بعلم الاثار والحضاره في غرب اسيا. ونضم ونحب ان يكون معانا كل الاطياف او كل المسميات كلداني وسرياني وارثوذكسي. وهذه خلافات مذهبيه تاريخية صارت في وقت بالقرن الرابع والخامس والسادس تحت أطماع الدولة الرومانية البيزنطية، وخلافات ذاتية ومسميات صغيرة يعني حول كيان ومسميات حول السيد المسيح. لا أعترف بهذا كباحث وكعالم آثار واعرف اصل الاديان والسن. انا عارف بدقائق اصل الاديان واصل الطوائف واصل الاختلافات المذهبيه.
دكتور، ذكرت الصراعات المذهبيه والقوميه والذاتيه تاريخيا، شنو رايك بالصراعات الموجوده حاليا بين ابناء هذه الامه على المسميات او الاسماء المختلفه؟
الكلدان شوف ولسن، هذه هم كانوا اصلا الكلدان، نحن في العراق وفي العالم نحن اصلنا نسطوريين، الكنيسة الشرقية القديمة الاصيلة. نحن اصلنا نسطوريين، الكنيسة الشرقية القديمة الاصيلة. البابا اليوم في القرن الخامس عشر سوى دعاية واخذ من العراقيين النسطوريين، اخذ شريحة سواها كاثوليك بدعايات وباغراءات وبامور كثيرة، يعني تحت اسم حمايتهم من الدولة العثمانية. ومن صارت الشريحة هذه اللي أخذها من الكنيسة الشرقية القديمة شي يسميهم حرب، فأطلق عليهم هذول مسيحيي بلاد الكلدان، يعني بلاد بابل، فأطلق عليهم تسمية تاريخية اللي هي نصارى الكلدان في بلاد الكلدان. هذا لا يعني قومية كلدانية. أنا دعوني من كنيسة واشنطن الأخوة الكلدان إلى ديترويت ورادوني أيد كون هم قومية كلدانية. قلت لهم لا يجوز، انتم لستوا قومية كلدانية، انتم من المسيحيين الآخرين اللي انحدرنا من بلاد عاشور، انحدرنا من مسيحيين الأوائل أتباع المسيح اللي هم أطلق عليهم في بلاد الشام السريان، فنحن لا يمكن يعني أن أعطيكم قومية كلدانية. رفضت هذا، زعلوا الشباب الإخوان علي بطل في أيلول، كان يوم عيد الصليب الحقيقة. ليست هناك قومية كلدانية ولسن. قلت بالقرن الخامس عشر سماهم البابليون المسيحيين في أرض الكلدان. فهمتني؟
أفهمتك دكتور.
ولهذا البطريرك الكلداني يطلق على نفسه بطريرك بابل على الكلدان، يعني على أتباع الكنيسة الشرقية القديمة اللي صار اسمهم كلدان. بس احنا الكلدان خلي يعرفوا المطارين وغيره، نحن اصلنا من اتباع الكنيسة الشرقية القديمة الاولى، مهما يحاول المطارين او اتباع انا كلداني، لكن هذه ليست قوميتي، يعني هذا مذهب مذهب أنا ولدت به من عائلة منشقة عن الكنيسة الشرقية القديمة.
دكتور، بس علميا مثل ما تعرفوا تاريخيا نبو بلاصر أبو نبوخذ نصر أسس الدولة الكلدانية بالقرن السادس قبل الميلاد.
أدري كانت الدولة شوف الدولة البابلية الحديثة اللي أسسها أبو نبوخذ نصر نبو بلاصر، هو كان أكو قبائل عشائر آرامية جت من الخليج العربي طلعت إلى جنوب العراق، مسميات عديدة، بيت ياسين وبيت يافو وبيت كلدو. فهذا نبو بلاصر كان زعيم عائلة، زعيم عشيرة كلدو، اسم قديم، حكم استقل عن الاشوريين سنة 626 قبل الميلاد، واغتصب الحكم في بابل واسس دولة بابلية نسميها حديثة او كلدية مو كلدانية، كلدية. احنا الان نسميها بالتاريخ ابن نبوخذ نصر بعدين حكم وجعل غرب اسيا معظمها امبراطورية بابلية اخيرة او كلدية مو كلدانية. لولسن تفهمني؟ دي بيت ارامي وثني كلدية اللي هم بابليين الحقيقة. ما لهم علاقة، ما في علاقة بين نصارى الكلدان الآن أبدا، ولا نصارى الكلدان الشريحة الكلدانية يعني تنتمي إلى ذيك الشريحة. هذولاك ناس بابليين حكموا بين 626 إلى 539 قبل الميلاد، وقضى على دولتهم الأخامينيين كورش. ما في علاقة، أي رابط تاريخي ما في أخي ولسن.
دكتور شكرا جزيلا على وقتك.
أنا سعيد بكم الحقيقة وبتنظيماتكم بالخارج وبكون عندكم وسائل إعلامية. أنا حيل فرحان ولسن.
أخشميل أخون أيضا بقرن من دكتور بهنام أبو الصوف بوتكوتاشت وبولاغت شمانة ريشة اتنقدها أمتا دكتور مرة. أنا لها منن يتوتت شمانة بريشة تلينا شق من شمانة تودي تناي أختي ولتلن يصورة بيت أمتنايوتا ين قومية وشغشة ين أصلت كالدناي إلى آطورايا من إيتا تقتد مدنخا طية خد شمت نصرناية وتشعي تنايت من قم خمشا داري ين دارت خمشا صر بابت روما متولة شمت كالدناي قداني نصرناية تويل كاثوليقاي وبدانت بقرن من دكتور بوتيتو تشم كالداي وتشعيته وشتست دولتت كالداي بيت نبو بلاصر بابت نبوخذ نصر اشتماش من قم شيخة دكتور بهنام جوبله اتوا عشيرته ارمايتية من برقاقة ين جولف وشتسة جو تيمنة عراق ين جنوب عراق جو باول شمانة بريشة ين من بات بريشة اغبت ياسين وبتياقو وبتكلدو. دكتور بهنام مرة نبو بلاصر ايوان دبرانت بيتوتا ين عشيرة كلدو هتخب شيتت اشتموا وسري وخمشة من قم شيخة شو تسلة دولتا باولتا خدتا او دولتا كل ديتا لا كلدنيتا.
اجي يوم انا باطير كيون لكن انا خمن نوخيون انا روند البيثيون انا ساوي قمايا قاشا داويد ديو خلي في شمي فقاشا نسطرنايا لدنا مشني لتن مشني ديو ايش قاثولي غاية ماثن اما وخمشي باتي تخجيلي ديا كلها ايت المدن حيوة بس كلنا خاوم سيوة كلنا خايتة لازم دارو خاوم سو خايتة تخدميني انكبو خاية كل شورة بوليتيقية ومصالح شخصية كل خايته هيمانوثا خايلة طقسا خايلة تيتن خايلة بابا ويما خايلة دما خايلة خنوات.
Does your work and busy schedule keep you away from making delicious homemade meals? Give yourself the experience of wholesome taste of Sadaf Heat and Serve meals. Sadaf Mediterranean and Persian meals are made with the richest ingredients cooked to perfection. In just a few minutes, enjoy your favorite stews, kebabs, and a variety of delicious Mediterranean and Persian food with no preservatives in the comfort of your own home or at work. Yes, choosing Sadaf is choosing the best.
رایحه ادکلون و عطر شما نشانه شخصیت شماست که پرفیوم آوتلت با بیش از 6000 نوع عطر و ادکلون معروف دنیا در خدمت شماست. معروفترین عطرها گوچی، ورساچی، کارتیه، کلوین کلاین، دولچه اند گابانا، بربری، هیوگو باس، جورجیا آرمانی و سایر برندها همه کاملا اصل و با بسته‌بندی اورجینال در پرفیوم آوتلت. این یک حقیقت است با 10 تا 60% زیر قیمت دیپارتمنت استورها. این عطرها بهترین سوغاتی در سفر به ایران یا هدیه نوروز، کریسمس، تولد، سالگرد ازدواج، روز گرامی داشته مادران و پدران و سایر مراسم است.
من فرشید به اتفاق سایر همکارانم مقدم شما همزبانان عزیز رو گرامی می‌داریم.
پرفیوم آوتلت همه روز غیر از شنبه ها از 9 صبح تا 8 شب. تلفن 818 992 3465 عضو 08 و 50 50 100.
Atrema به ادیدان و تیتل از اموی داله قطعا بیشتر خورزتونی لی قد خامزم تبیتی لام میوکرتا نهرین انویا قدیل خاطرتا اکتیویست رابش پرخان رابط چلوش لا قدم سانی تاطورتا بوزد مدیالا كنخراية كأمريكاية كبقرية نخراية يعني كسناتورنا ككونغرسمان كبرخشلا كجدان واشنطن اشترى نيويورك اشترى رابط كان رابط خمسة أوتوريتا أوتلا از امید شما قلده سمت خورزه کدانا منی و میکرتا نهرین انویا. Let's play it, please. Hello, Nhren. How are you?
Good, thank you, George. How are you?
I'm perfectly fine. I have no complaint for today is Friday. And it's a good day for us having you for the third time to be in the show. And I'm proud of you. So that's what I called you again. Because you're the only lady active at the moment in the United States of America, which is she's Assyrian and she's active. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you. And it is because of people like you and our brothers and sisters who support our crisis and, you know, the cause that actually drive me and energize me and give me more power to do what I do.
Of course, I understood you. I introduced you in Assyrian language beginning of the program. That's what I just called you. Hi, how are you? So everybody knows I'm talking to Nhren Anweya.
Yes, thank you.
So Nhren, let's talk about pretty soon in a couple of months, in a month and a half, will be anniversary of the, I hope it's not an anniversary, disaster which happened to our people in our homeland. So what first time you saw this happening in television, when they showed the images, what was your feeling and what made you to join the cause, being active and be activists in this cause?
When I first saw and when I heard from my family in Iraq what was happening, and you know, they weren't sure exactly what was, you know, who the people were and what was exactly happening, but they knew they were being invaded, it devastated me. And you know, just when it hit the news too, and you know, international news, not exactly, it wasn't on US news yet, and watching the atrocities that was happening to people and actually hearing my Assyrian brothers and sisters being purged out of their homes forcefully, it outraged me. It just built this passion, extra passion and anger inside of me, just to completely exhaust all options as much as I can do to help them. Because it really, I was so offended when I heard these Nakhraya, these outsiders that were coming into our homelands of Nineveh and just destroying everything and, you know, purging our people out and asking them, you know, who they were right when they entered their homes. and kicked them out and took all their valuables, their belongings. You know, I right off the bat, just studying what I knew about ethnic and religious cleansing, I knew this was a genocide. And it really didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that this is a genocide. So for the organizations and the government agencies internationally, for them, the ones that haven't recognized this as a genocide yet, they haven't really done their studies very well, because purging someone off of their homelands is a strategy of a genocide. Mass executions is a genocide. Asking people what their religion is once they encounter them, that's a strategy of a genocide. And even before ISIS invaded, not allowing people to wear their cross or speak their Assyrian Aramaic language is a genocide. All of these facts lead to only one thing, and not only a genocide, this is another Holocaust. And that's what it is, and they need to acknowledge that. You know, they shouldn't take so long to acknowledge something like this. You know, there are so many genocides that have occurred, and every single one that has occurred in our history, the Western countries, even along with Middle Eastern countries, the ones that are becoming a little more modernized, say that we would never allow another one to occur. And sadly enough, since the invasion, since last June, it is still occurring. It is even worse than when it started, and it is happening. And to be honest with you, yes?
Nhren, let's see, who's ISIS?
I believe ISIS is a radical group. It's a group that has an ideology to destroy anything in its path that doesn't agree with it. I also believe that not only are they radicals, they're empowered by a lot of money, and I truly believe that it's not just money that's from the Middle East. I believe it is money that's coming from many nations in the world. It is a strategy to divide Iraq and Syria. It is a strategy to dismantle the government, to dismantle the Middle East, and to take the valuable homelands. One of the most valuable homelands in the world are Assyrian homelands, and that's Nineveh, which includes Mosul. The Arabization of the Middle East, when they started dividing the different areas and named Iraq, and named Mosul, that is actually all Nineveh. So Nineveh is sitting on billions of money worth of oil and also uranium. And that's what the mission is to not only take the homelands. I mean, you can build those homes in just a few dollars, but it's what's underneath those homelands. It's our ancestral oil that we've inherited. And it's sadly enough, you know, many people look at us as natives and they probably think we're extremely wealthy. We're not, because we're not given the same rights as natives in the United States. We're the natives of those lands, and we're not giving anything. In fact, we're not even treated like equal citizens. We're treated worse than second-class citizens. And I truly believe ISIS is extremely powerful. It's extremely organized. It's a highly funded group, and there is no serious war against it because many people are involved with it.
Well, when we talk about the powerful people behind them, we are talking about the money, equipment, all the things which you see every day in the television. There are countries behind it, and there's countries that are interesting to wipe our name, wipe our civilization, wipe which we are there, wipe the Christianity in Middle East, because they have plans to divide Middle East in 3 sections, and one of those 3 is not us, not the Christian, not the Assyrian, not the Chaldean, not the Syria or whatever. Of course, we call ourselves different names, and that's one of the biggest problems, which I'm going to talk about later on with you.
Exactly.
But who was the most affected in this matter, which they came in in Syria and Iraq? There was some other group too, which is there were native there. For thousands of years they lived there. They've been affected too. But the most affected, who are the people you think, by your opinion?
I'll tell you all the people that are affected, and then I'll tell you who are affected the most based on facts. The people that are affected in this attack, in the invasion of ISIS, just because they were, you know, a large population of them, You know, even Sunnis themselves, Sunni Muslims were affected, Shia Muslims, Assyrian Christians, Yazidis, Shabaks, Turkmens, and, you know, just the general Iraqi public. However, the ones that are the most affected, in a sense that they are literally facing extinction, because this is not the only genocide they've experienced. They've experienced hundreds of genocides. That is the Assyrians, the indigenous people of Iraq and Syria. And also along with us, our Yazidi brothers and sisters. We have been peacefully living together in ancient Assyria for thousands of years. And then when we were invaded, we still coexisted with the invaders, living in peace, and actually taught them science, mathematics, laws, and just, you know, when we had cradled civilization thousands of years ago, they actually admired our intelligence, and we shared it with them. So we are the most affected. We have gone from over 30 million Assyrians to an estimated number of about 3 million in the whole world. That is ridiculous. And if anyone says, well, Assyrians lived fine in Iraq and we were great with them, well, our numbers prove it. If we were doing just fine, why have we been drastically decreasing in numbers where we are literally facing extinction? And you know what? Sometimes I ask myself, maybe this happened for a reason. Maybe this happened to not only wake up Assyrians in the entire world, but just people, to let them know these ancient biblical people are about to be extinct. And let me tell you, anyone that believes in God, they should be afraid, because these people, these biblical people, are labeled as God's right-hand people in the Bible. It is only God that can take us out. People themselves cannot take us out. This is a human crisis. It's a crisis against all human rights. ISIS has violated over 20 articles in the human rights declarations and also the declarations to protect indigenous people. They have violated every single article in both of those declarations. Where is the United Nations? Where's the United States?
Well, let me ask you another question. You've been talking about this matter, and you've been active in many places. You went to the meetings with different candidates, with your candidate for being President of the United States. You've been active in televisions. Since you started, did you see any effectiveness? Your appearing in those television, being in the location with the different candidates, there's any promises? There's anything different, or they know what we're talking about, or they just don't care?
I believe that before this genocide hit the media, especially mainstream media, they were definitely they did not have any plans for the Christians in Iraq and the Yazidis, nothing. They, in fact, probably thought that everything would happen, and they underestimated us. They didn't realize how many Assyrians and Yazidis were actually left globally. In our diaspora, we actually, you know, we were still able to preserve our identity, even though we are drastically decreasing, but we are still here. We're in many different countries, and we are all outraged. Those Assyrians that became outraged, you know, we stuck together and we tried to make an impression. We tried to hit every strategy, every source that we can to let them know that we still exist. So before, no, they did not care, and they were going to go on with their strategies and all their political different deals that they were making without acknowledging Assyrians, the native people of Iraq. So after I had my interview on Fox News, and I blasted it on the news that there's a genocide occurring against Assyrians and Yazidis, and that it's horrific, and even on my first interview, if you watch it, there was an advisor, a U.S. advisor in northern Iraq that said that Assyrian Christians were not affected at all. And I called her out on national media, and I said, well, actually, I am an Assyrian Christian, and I have family in Iraq, and they were literally chased by ISIS out of their homes, and now they are living in the slums of northern Iraq. And how are you going to tell me that they're not affected? There were families that were gunned down in their vehicles. those types of things were never brought on the news. And in fact, even their families are so scared to complain that, you know, these things are happening. So they were trying to keep it as a secret. And I even had addressed that this was not a secret anymore, and that we are going to release all the evidences that this is a genocide, it's a modern day Holocaust, and it's happening on the watch of every world leader as they sit tight and they're not doing anything to help these people.
As usual, the United States and UN, there is always the wrong side of the story. They don't help the people who need the help. They're helping Kurds, but they are not native. They came from Iran. They are Iranian, actually, because they are born in Iran. They are Persian. Never been to Kurdistan ever, ever, ever. There was no place called Kurdistan. Now they want to have a country. United States and some of the senators claiming they're going to help Kurdish people to establish for their own country. They are in Turkey. Turkey is against them. They don't want them to be there because they are trying to get part of Turkey. In Syria, they don't want them there because they want part of Syria. Iranian, which they have their own country, they have freedom, they everything for them, they have their own state. They don't want them there to do this. They want to get part of Iran, part of Turkey, part of Syria to make Kurdistan. And unfortunately, United States and the ally, they're helping to happen. They are not helping us, which we are native. That's Assyria. Now, we are in minority, that's fine. We're living there. We've been living there for thousands of years. This is the first time we are displaced people in our country.
Exactly. They're constantly making deals and wheeling different things with the northern government of Kurdistan and the Iraqi central government. And I had actually written a post and an article stating that it is time for world leaders to ask Assyrians and Yazidis how we are doing. Stop asking the Kurds, stop asking the Arabs, stop asking anyone that's non-Assyrian, non-Yazidi how we are doing. That's not how you're going to receive the most truthful answer. And they must do their research by asking the Assyrians also in the diaspora, because we don't have guns pointing to our heads and we are not threatened. Our families are not threatened, even though sometimes they may be, just because extremism can be anywhere. But we are not on the same threat level as our brothers and sisters in the Middle East. And yes, they are constantly funding the Kurds, just like they were constantly funding Al-Qaeda, and they were constantly funding Syrian rebels.
Who brought the ISIS? Who brought the ISIS? When they were trying to topple the Assad regime, what they did, they helped the opposition. Who was the opposition? Today's ISIS.
Exactly.
So they are helping, still again, they are helping the other side, again, still the Kurds. And the other ones, which they are not really helpful to the Christianity, and they're not helpful to Assyrian, Shabak, and Turkmen, and also Yazidis. So these are I don't know why America foreign policy is such a disaster. They don't search, they don't ask, they don't know, or there is a cause for it. It's always when 1923, when they decided to create 3 countries, one was supposed to be Assyria. But what the Britain did, they betrayed us. We fought in Second World War II. We fought in Second World War I and World War I. So we were the ally with them. So what they did, they betrayed us. They took us on the side. They brought the Arabs, 3 brothers, Faisals. They put in the Iraq, Syria, and Jordan. So that's why we are suffering every time with people who are hurting us are Christians. They are not different from the other ones, which they massacred us. They genocide. For example, Turk killed us, but the same thing with the British, same thing with the West. They are killing us differently. They are making us disappear from the world. So
exactly, they're killing us in a strategy of a failed foreign policy. And yes, the current administration, they have funded the Syrian rebels close to now, I believe it's about $700 to $800 million to Syrian rebels in weapons and different ammunition. And actually, a lot of those weapons have gone directly to ISIS. And another important factor is a lot of our allies, our American allies like Turkey and Saudi Arabia and UAE and Qatar, They are directly funding ISIS, and actually even the administration admitted to it. And they said that, oh, well, they're starting to change their ways. No, they have funded them in hundreds of millions of dollars. How do you assume, how do you propose such a small group had completely taken over half of the country of Iraq, half of the country of Syria? It's ridiculous. And you know what? If they found Saddam Hussein in a hole in the wall, how do they not find Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and the rest of his regime in Iraq and Syria? How can they not destroy them? That's a pathetic reason, and anyone with intelligence in this world does not believe it. You know what? We as Americans also, we need to wake up, rise up, and we are tired of this different types of corrupted bureaucracies. We are tired of it, and we are not allowing, I would rather pay $10 a gallon for gas than knowing that, you know, this money is going towards the funding of terrorism. We need to stop this because we don't even know who we're supporting. You know, Turkey, even putting its history to the side, look what they're still doing. All those Toyotas and all those different trucks that are being transported into Iraq, that needs to stop. Because a lot of those
are the U.S. armies, which they give it to the Iraqi army, which they left them and they run away. Just like nothing happened. They fight Iran for 8 years. They fought Iran for 8 years, very strong army. What happened to it? After this invasion of the ISIS to Iraq, they're like a chicken hawks. They leave their stuff and they run away. And that's what they equip with everything. But with all the respect to other nationalities, I don't want to say anything bad about anybody. But today's, which we are here, what we did wrong from the beginning of ISIS when they invaded Iraq and Syria. We Assyrian, what we did wrong, which we are suffering, we couldn't have done differently.
I believe that it shouldn't have taken an invasion from a group named ISIS, Al-Qaeda, any group that's invaded us before. It shouldn't have took an invasion for us to wake up. We have many extreme issues in our nation, and I know it's not our fault. I know it was inevitable because we have been in a diaspora for so long. I mean, since the fall of our empire, we haven't had our nation. And, you know, we developed different ideas of political groups, and our church is divided. We could have looked at our population. And actually, Assyrians invented census. We recorded the first census in the world in history. We recorded ourselves because we created the first cities. We should have looked at our numbers, saw how badly they were dropping, that we're literally, for being almost 7,000 years old, completely gone from history. We should have woke up earlier, not now, while we have 207 hostages still. We have another 2,000 Assyrians that are roaming around Syria, running away from ISIS. We have our brothers and sisters living in the slums of Iraq and Syria. They are living in these public buildings. We are refugees in our own country. Why did it have to take that much for us to wake up? And even for myself, you know, I blame myself too. I wish that even when I was a young teenager, I could have worked harder. I could have somehow sparked something bigger then. But honestly, if it doesn't take this genocide for our nation to wake up, every single one of us, we need every single one of us because we don't even have that many of us. But God saved us for a reason.
Let's put the God on the side. Let's put the God on the side because we are suffering at the moment. As a small man, very little bit left of us. We have too many churches, too many divisions because we are Christians. And that keeps us divided. We couldn't unite together. Even in this crisis which we are facing today, still our churches are not united. Right now, Church of the East and Ancient Church of the East, they are uniting together. They want to come back to be one church again. For thousands of years, they were one identity. Suddenly, 50 years ago, they divided because of the calendar. So what do you think? If we are united together, and the other churches, which we are Christian, in this matter, because we live in the country which is surrounded by the different ethnics and different religions, Aren't you better for us to be united, at least for the fighting it case, not just because what church I go in the Sunday? How we can do that? Why we're not doing that? And what do you think is going to happen? Do you have hope? Do you have hope for it?
I really do. And mainly because I really believe in this verse in the Bible, Isaiah 19:23 through 26. But when I saw the ancient Assyrian church and Church of the East uniting, it really brought tears to my eyes. And I truly believe that our Chaldean brothers and sisters of the Catholic Church and the Syriac Catholic and Orthodox churches, we all need to come together. We know we are one nation. We know we come from Assyria. We're from Nineveh. From Nineveh, the biblical city Nineveh. It's the capital of Assyria. That's where we originated from. That entire area was Assyria. There was no Syria. Syria came from Assyria. They dropped the A and the S out. And same thing, the largest Chaldean villages are from Nineveh. Tilkepe, Al-Qosh, Tiskope, all those villages are Nineveh. You know, they're Assyria. We are Assyrians. And it's not about pushing my identity on someone else. We're one identity. And we can't fall for the strategies of our enemies. They want us to be divided. They would love for us to have 10 names. But we can't allow them. We can't be that weak, that naive to believe these different, strategies that our enemies are putting different flags, putting different titles, just anything they can do. It's like, this issue that's already happening, they're putting their 2 cents in it. We can't allow them to continue. We have to unite all back together. And I know for some people it sounds like a crazy thing to do, but it is not. It is something that we should have done a long time ago. We should have never allowed these divisions. It is our own fault. It is our own Assyrian fault. It's not the Chaldean fault, the Syriac fault. Those are Assyrians. We did it to ourselves. We cannot allow any more divisions.
Well, by help of the others, by help of the other countries, like for example, when they created the Chaldean Rite, which is one of the 16 rites of the Catholic Church in Vatican, they brought to divide the Church of the East because the Catholic, they were not strong. Roman Catholic, they were not strong in the Middle East. They brought Maragoluf from Lebanon when our patriarch died, and his successor was 10 years old. So they created the Chaldea, and they called them Chaldean.
Right,
Since 1551, Chaldea becomes as a officially Church of the Vatican since 1563. First, Maragoluf, yeah. So those are the things which we don't want to accept. Especially today, we have the worst enemy which we have. We shouldn't have it. It's our own. Our own people. They are fighting each other. Like for example, look at the political parties. Today is not the time to fight for the name of my party. It's time to unite together, fight together, and defend our family. For example, as a woman, as a lady of Syria, there's a lot of women in Iran suffering. In Syria, they're suffering. They've been raped. They've been captured. They've been sold. What's your feeling about it? Can you tell me about how you feel about this?
I think it's horrendous. I think that we should all be outraged. We all need to unite together to form a force, a strategy, a very important strategy of our lifetime that will mark history books. We need to stand up for our brothers and sisters that are suffering in Iraq, Syria, Iran, Turkey, wherever they are. We are all they have. So if we don't come together and unite and fight for them, then who will? Because you know what? As of today, the United States, the British government, the UN, they're operating like a turtle. They're not doing much. We have to stand strong in their face and let them know we are one nation, under one name, under one flag, and we are demanding our indigenous rights. And no, we will not fall for the strategies to divide, because people should understand, especially Assyrians, we should understand that the first rule of thumb, the first way to dismantle a nation is to conquer and divide. Divide. We cannot allow them to divide us under any more names. Wake up, Assyria. It is in the Bible. God, his last words to us in the Bible, in Isaiah, were that he will allow us to rise. He will have his right-hand people, the Assyrians, to rise. It does not say any other word. It says Assyrians. It does not say any different name, church names, or whatever it is. You know, we have to use our common sense, not just intelligence, but also common sense and our religious sense. For the people that claim they're so religious and go to church every Sunday, the most common word, the most strongest word in the Bible is unity. Let's put our pride to the side. It is not time for pride for any religious group or political group to use our pride. Our brothers and sisters are being crucified. There are so many crimes that are occurring in Iraq that even the government does not submit, that you will never even see on the news. These people are so scared. Even when I try to interview people in Iraq, they will not say much on the phone. They are so afraid to say anything, especially the ones that are most affected. They don't want to say anything because they're losing hope. They're losing hope in us. So how can we allow them to lose hope in us? They are all we have left in the homelands. It is a nation that is dispersed through the whole world, and we have one group of our brothers and sisters left in the homeland. That is our only connection to the homeland. So we all must come together, be strong for them, fight together as one. You know, I am seeing a lot of improvement with our lobbyists in the White House, and I have spoken to a few of them, but initially we were presented to the White House in proposals as different groups, as if we were different ethnicities. We were literally put on different lines, as if Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac, Yazidis, Turkmens, Shebeks. That should have never happened. And you know what? I am seeing an improvement, even though there's still the 3-name situation going on, but it's a good step, and we all must do it. And honestly, we really don't have much time. We really, really need to come back to our one name.
Even if we want to use the 3 names, that's fine. Let's use the 3 names, but let's do it together. We go there,
Yes.
we are Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac. We are one nation. We want it together. Petitions for all of us. Not go against each other. Not go there, no, I am Chaldean, I'm not Assyrian, so help me. If even 3 names were wrong to begin with, but let's assume today we accepted it. We want to be 3 names, to call it with 3 different names. But we should be united as 3 names and ones. We have 50 states of United States, but each state as united together becomes country as America. So we can do the same thing. We are different names. They accepted it, we'll go along with it, but at least it's time to unite, time to fight. You die by sword, you kill by sword. So nothing worse than that cannot happen. But we are just, lately, we're not doing as we used to be. Assyria was the greatest nation, warriors, fighters, but today we are like a refugee around the world. And in our own country, we're not fighting for our right because they don't let us. So
and I
next
want our
step,
Syrian brothers and sisters to have faith and to understand that, yes, we will get our homeland back. But when we do, are we prepared? Will we be ready? Are we going to make our God proud that, you know what, He's dispersed us throughout the entire world? And yes, that's in the Bible, but it's also in the Bible that He's bringing us back to Assyria. Are we going to make Him proud? Are we prepared to put our differences to the side? Whatever differences that have developed in 2,000 years, we have to put them to the side. He's putting His faith, His glory, His work, His energy, and everything He has in us, and it's happening. I'm already seeing the signs happening, and honestly, it gives me goosebumps when I think about it, that our God is working really through Assyrians. You know, all the prophecies are happening in the Bible, and we have to be prepared. And it is all up to us. When one of us dies in Iraq and Syria, one part of all of us is dying, and we're all connected. We have a strong connection. We have such an old connection. You know, not too many people can say that their ethnicity is almost 7,000 years old. You know, many things came from us. You know, I just want them to be so proud to be Assyrian, because it really is something to be proud of. It is something historical, something that every person in the world knows about. It's not, even though right now we're small in numbers, but people know us as one of the most amazing people to ever exist. I've had American, English, French historians tell me that wow, you know, you must be so proud to be Assyrian, to have such an amazing history.
Of course, we are proud Assyrians. Of course. Nhren, we're getting to the end of the time. We have some limited time here. So we have 5 more minutes to talk.
Sure.
One thing I want to, I'm going to let you last 2 minutes of it, just give your message the way you want it to be told. But the way you're seeing being these activities as activists in the United States with this different congressperson, the people are activated, they want to be president of the United States. There's any hope from there? They interested to listen to your story, or they are just a matter of promises?
Yes, I have been getting a lot of feedback from, you know, I've been very active with the Republican Party, the different Tea parties in Michigan, and also in, you know, I've met quite a few governors, senators, and, you know, I've even met some prime ministers, and I've met different individuals internationally. And yes, they are hearing it, specifically in the United States, they are hearing our message. They understand what we're demanding. They initially did try to go on with their strategies without Assyrians and just Christians in general in Iraq, but they understand we're demanding Nineveh and that we want military arms. But I believe this unity we were discussing earlier is very important in what our demand is. And they will take what we say even more serious. It is definitely going in very slow motion. Everything we're doing, you know, everything even the lobbyists are doing in the White House is going very slow with U.S. Congress. And I also believe a very important factor in this is the UN Security Council. We've definitely proposed to them, you know, this year, and we hope they heard us. You know, we have definitely done as much as we can. What they should take us serious, and there are definitely our brothers and sisters that are constantly, continuously proposing to them. So they know what we want. They know, they understand that we're still here and what we're requesting. But, you know, with all God's will, that they will definitely implement the safe haven, our region, our province in Iraq, Nineveh, and to be controlled and governed by its own people, Assyrians, Yazidis, and, you know, our fellow minorities that will coexist with us, that have been drastically affected in the genocide. But yes, that is our mission. Our number one mission is a safe haven for Assyrians and fellow minorities, which is Nineveh. We're claiming it as our homeland, which it is, and we're also claiming military arms. And I'm hoping that all of the Assyrian units, all of them, no matter what they call themselves, I hope that they are ready to come together and become one to protect, you know, our homelands in Nineveh and our homelands in Syria. And they need to operate as long as they understand that they are working for Assyria. They are working for their Assyrian brothers and sisters to protect our homelands and our friends that are living with us. That is their number one mission that I want them to put in their minds, in their hearts, that yes, we might all, you know, have different political views, but so does every country, Armenia, the United States, you know, United Kingdom, every country in the world has different political groups. But at the end of the day, who do they work for? Their nation. They're one nation, and they should never, ever allow enemies in between them, between a brother and a sister in one nation.
Thank you very much. I am Democrat, you are Republican, but we are working together on one cause.
That's right.
So that's what we should learn, how to be democratic. Then you call yourself today's people living in this modern earth, which we created it and against each other. Divide and conquer, that was really. But we have to send a message to White House and U.S. Congress. Don't fund wrong parties. Don't create more enemies. Don't give more ammunition to the wrong people. So that's what happens. When we invaded Iraq, we invaded other places, see what happened. We are getting killed because of the wrong policy of the United States. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again next time.
Thank you for having me.
And
we promise them that if they help the Assyrians, we will not let them down. We will be an amazing ally to the world because our history.
We were an ally in World War I. we were the fighting. What we conquered all the top area, which is in Turkey. They couldn't go there. Assyrian army invaded Turkey, not the ally. So that's another problem. But
we were their most amazing fighters, their strongest fighters and allies. That's what we did.
Thank you very much, Nhren. Appreciate it.
Thank you, George. God bless you.
Hope you see you soon. Don't forget your segment. Welcome to Assyrian Network today.
Thank you, and God bless your studio and your station.
Thank you
so much.
Bye-bye.
Does your work and busy schedule keep you away from making delicious homemade meals? Give yourself the experience of wholesome taste of Sadaf Heat and Serve meals. Sadaf Mediterranean and Persian meals are made with the richest ingredients cooked to perfection. In just a few minutes, enjoy your favorite stews, kebabs, and a variety of delicious Mediterranean and Persian food with no preservatives in the comfort of your own home or at work. Yes, choosing Sadaf is choosing the best.
رایحه اتکلون و عطر شما نشانه شخصیت شماست که پرفیوم آوتلت با بیش از 6000 نوع عطر و اتکلون معروف دنیا در خدمت شماست. معروفترین عطرها گوچی، ورساچی، کارتیه، کلوین کلاین، دولچه اند گابانا، بربری، هیوگو باس، جورجیو آرمانی و سایر برندها همه کاملا اصل و با بسته‌بندی اورجینال در پرفیوم آوتلت. این یک حقیقت است با 10 تا 60% زیر قیمت دیپارتمنت استورها. این عطرها بهترین سوغاتی در سفر به ایران یا هدیه نوروز، کریسمس، تولد، سالگرد ازدواج، روز گرامی داشته مادران و پدران و سایر مراسم است.
من فرشید به اتفاق سایر همکارانم مقدم شما همزبانان عزیز رو گرامی می‌داریم.
پرفیوم آوتلت همه روز غیر از شنبه ها از 9 صبح تا 8 شب. تلفن 818 992 3465 عضو 08 و 50 50 100.
أطري مغبت لي همزمت مغبال خون مميوكات النهرين انويا خازمت راب قدمت يبا مسابيايخ مضيخن كدخنا غيبا برخويادة لا برفولاقة بش أمتن راو مديان بيتايلة بغزاية كل دنيا داخل بجدن أبا صارت هيتلا قاطر جانا يبغ ريفيوجي خود شادر بدماغي كنوراتيات بدماغي هاي كديان بس ليلة مليانتا بتاع من جانا من أيضا زبلاشة أنا خاصة من همزمت مرة في المتالكة تأخذ كذا داخل جانو أدراي بدايله أخنا جدا همزم داقسة همزم مغمضة من يتكل ديتا يم كل دناي تبارلا ديتا ودا من سورياك خيدة همزم جمخن برمية غداده هذه خيدة كنطرت جانا كنطرت إيتوتا كنطرت أمتا لشانا توديتا أن كل كتيم بداوي هيرانه كتخ أمساخن جانا خمخلا يخسر بغزاية مد ظلمية مد من ديان رجال بتاعنا مد من ديان قبومنا أنا بقول التليفون كاتون بدخل معلوم كتخزن إطلاق خاطر منطقة كما دقيقة سفر would you please put the studio phone for a few seconds أنا كطلعت بعد دقيقة التليفون بشو كنا بتيخه صاب بزودة دانت لنا نوم تليفون منه أوكي يقرأ تليفون بغزايتهم تاما 818-342-3031 إن تلون خاطر خمان تبويتم مقربيتم لقدا دقيقة كما دقيقة لن خزن أختهم متخمونتم ورخت آخر زبرق شيله مغوبتم قد أخنا شنو بعد وقت شبته امبياتهم هيراناتهم قد آخر ز خوشم كزدن كاتين أدبرتاز بيابنا كاتين سنودهم من عترزونهم يعني بيايتهم قد آخر زاويتهم هدامه متوخم طيننا هذا متوخم قبل ملاك دايتون قد آخر ز تخمنياتهم مقربخلون بديل دوخم تانخلون رام ديان كم سقوط أخو مقدادة قد خرز ز بيشني از رقمای بلکه ساتوز مزید اخلون. اینه کنایت تخمن تدیو خون کدن مندیان که تخمن واسه گدا خورز بیتر کاتون که شبته موینه. یعنی کاتی کم سیتون ایمیل شدیتون یا بیتلفون گانی 833 اشتیاقات 888 تلفن دادیم تخمن تو خون مقربیتون لا. بداین خک ساعت لینا سپای کاتون کات خورز بوج داریم بازایتون که یوتیوب یا که فیسبوک بازایتون اینه بیمون هایران لاخش کدی که کل خورز داتوره لا تفاوت ای که خورز بازایتون سب فلخت مقداده آوا مویداله بوز زوده مرد تران را هر کت خمن که جانو خام دیابدیم أنا بغداين كتبلش خاشية تمومة أغسطس شاب بيرخى طبخ بيو شاب طبخ طبعا خاشية كتا خرزة من تلفزيون بارس بياشر بريسا أختو خنز كت شفت بغزايتهم أويتهم باسيمة وتخمن تو خنز بس معلوخون كاتا مخرم الله كتومو قاتن بيو أرخد إقارة ديني كشفت بيتايلا ستل رزقو بتوي أرخديا كنت خزا شمر منه كرويت بيتايلا وأرخ خيني وشركة خيني بتاعتني كانت منتهى سكيجول كنت خزيت منون شبات بيتايلا داخل مويدا لازاخن خزمرتا من ميكرو أوغن شمخن خزا مويدا تنويز مترا وشابرتلا وشوكن خمشينا هل شبت بيتايلا مغداد أنا قدام بيتايلا داستش شوكن خمشينا از مويدا لازم مرتا شمخلا let's play the song باسي مرابا
شلام كله سهدتهم تن دمش بخلون قرأت قراوة شلام كله دوي خينا وشا وخلون جمره قمال دواوة وعدت قروخ هل سهدوتا يوم الجاوة قانق كليلا كوتا شيوخ قابود بيشتا دمان برشماخ لوم تنشويلا ليلة خمتيج ما خشكنا سبيقم كخوي من موزلاتي نون اخرخا طريد بديره شو يلصيبه وكل رخاتي دربة خون قمش ديقه درمتي والترسي بواتي على رما صراخة طريشة ترتطليتا كل مواتي طيلة دانا جوت الشيطان همسكت واخ بدوخياتي وامقروطانان بارد لاشام زي خخ شغدات زاخوياتي شمطخ شتقاب شنخني قال مرمخ قلال مزلياتي قاقو ياما تنتم صلاح همت زينا كل صغياتي ليلة خنين وك ما خشكانا سبيقم كخويو من موزلاتي نون اخرختا تريد بديره شو يلرصيبه وكل رخاتي دربات خون بمش ثقه درمتي والترسي بواتي قال رما صراخ طريشة ترتطلي تاج كل مواتي سويلم قوله مملس بقيد الشلطانة المخبانة ومنهم واتت خاصبت اللون لما بريمة لما درانة لا لجاوخ خينة زدقان ومتنايت لا يقارا بياغونا بجرم شواخ خورخنا بلا الخورارا ليل خابور كما خشكنا سبيقم كخوي ومن موزلاته وديوم سميقا دم ابنو خطريد خطيبين يوم تواتي درباتو خم اشتيقي درمتي والتفسبواتي قال رما صراخ طريشا ترتطليتا كل مواتي
سمعني ورون قاتي رخب من يمي وخاتي شمرنا من أطرد غاهي إكل دنيا غازينا